I was looking for monsters in the old country. Now most people know about vampires and werewolves, but there are other things out there that go bump in the night. There was a time when I heard tales of a creature so terrifying that even the bravest of men would run for the hills. The golem, long ago. Before electricity and the internet, the nights were dark and dangerous. People lived in fear of this monster, an enormous being made of clay that stalked the night, smashing everything in its path. It was said to be as strong as 10 men and as tall as a house. And some say it was a good monster, but it just got misunderstood. Some say it all started in the ancient city of Edom. Legend has it that one rabbi had the power to bring the dead back to life. He used this power for good, helping people by bringing their loved ones back for a short time so they could say goodbye. But one day he was called to the palace where the king lay dying. The rabbi brought the king back to life just long enough to name his successor and ensured the continuation of his bloodline. But when the king regained his senses, he was furious. He accused the rabbi of playing God and demanded that he do it again, bringing the rabbi's own son back from the dead. The rabbi refused, so the king had him put to death. Before he died, the rabbi cursed the king and his family. Then he was thrown into a river, where his body floated all the way to the city of Prague. In Prague, there was a large Jewish community, and they took the rabbi's body from the river and buried him in a cemetery. Some say that the rabbi's grave is still there in the old Jewish cemetery in Prague. But one night, the ground shook as the rabbi's body rose from the dead as a giant made of clay. This was no ordinary monster. It was a golem, animated by powerful magic and driven by an insatiable hunger for destruction. It rampaged through the city, smashing buildings and killing hundreds, until it collapsed and turned back into a human, a poor cobbler. No one knew what had happened, but the cobbler seemed normal, except for the strange markings on his body. A rabbi who saw these markings realized what had happened. He summoned the cobbler to his synagogue and performed a ceremony to bind the spirit of the rabbi to the cobbler. And that's how the legend of the golem began. The rabbis used the golem to protect the Jewish people from persecution. It fought against the Nazis during World War II and saved many lives. That is until one day when the rabbi gave the golem an order that it couldn't carry out. The rabbi told the golem to bring him a book from the library across town, but the golem couldn't read and it ended up destroying the library instead. When the rabbi found out, he was furious and he tried to stop the golem, but it was too late. The golem went on a rampage, smashing everything in sight until it was finally stopped. And that's where the story of the golem ends. Or maybe it doesn't. Some say that the golem is still out there, waiting for the day when it will be needed once again. So if you ever hear a loud crash in the middle of the night, don't be alarmed. It's probably just the wind. Or maybe it's the golem. And if you ever see a giant made of clay, don't try to stop it. You can't. And if you ask it for help, it might just smash your city name. There are different versions of the legend of the golem, and in some tellings the golem has a name. One of the most common names for the golem is Adam, which means man in Hebrew. Other names include Joshua and David. Places. The legend of the golem is set in the city of Prague, but there are several places that are said to be connected to the story. The old Jewish cemetery in Prague is said to be the burial place of the rabbi who created the first golem, and the Jewish quarter in Prague is said to be where the rabbi's body was found after he was thrown into the river. In Budapest, there is a museum dedicated to the golem, and in Jerusalem, there is a statue of the golem on display.